Captain Jiho Kang stood in the observation deck of the Horizon's Promise, watching the alien ship approach. It looked like a massive crystal floating through space, catching starlight and splitting it into 1,000 colors. After 3 months of traveling to this meeting point, humanity was about to speak with the Velthrin for the first time. Jiho touched the small photo in his pocket without thinking. He always did that when he was nervous. The photo was old, creased from being folded and unfolded too many times. It showed him and Yuna standing in front of the Mars research station, both smiling. That was 5 years ago. 5 years since the accident that took her away. "Captain, they're ready for you," Commander Hyunwoo Park said from behind him. Hyunwoo had been his friend since the academy. He was one of the few people who knew how much Jiho still missed Yuna. Jiho turned away from the window. "How do I look?" "Like a man about to make history," Hyunwoo smiled. "Try not to think too loud. These aliens read minds, remember?" Jiho laughed nervously. "The Velthrin were telepaths. They didn't speak with words or sounds. They shared thoughts directly from mind to mind. Earth's scientists had prepared him as much as possible, but no human had ever done this before." The meeting chamber was circular and empty, except for a simple platform in the center. Jiho stepped onto it and waited. The air shimmered, and suddenly a Velthrin appeared in front of him. It was beautiful and strange. Its body seemed to be made of living light, shifting between solid and transparent. Colors moved across its surface like oil on water. "I am Loomis Veth," a voice said inside Jiho's head. It wasn't words exactly, more like the meaning of words appearing in his thoughts. "Do not be afraid. This will not hurt." "I'm ready," Jiho said aloud, though he knew the Velthrin could hear his thoughts anyway. Something gentle touched his mind. It felt warm, like sunlight on skin. Jiho relaxed and tried to think clearly. He thought about Earth, about humanity, about peace between their species. The connection felt smooth and easy. Then his mind wandered for just a second. He thought about Yuna. He remembered her laugh, the way she would get excited about her quantum research, how her eyes lit up when she explained impossible theories. Just a brief memory, barely a moment. The Velthrin jerked backward. Its crystalline body flashed bright gold, almost blinding. The warm presence in Jiho's mind turned confused, shocked. "Impossible," Loomis Veth's thought voice whispered. "What was that?" "What was what?" Jiho asked, confused. "Did I do something wrong?" The alien's form rippled with colors Jiho had never seen before. "Think of that again. The person you just remembered." Jiho hesitated, then let himself remember Yuna more fully. Her smile, her voice. The last time he saw her before she left for that fatal experiment. Loomis Veth made a sound like breaking glass. The gold light pulsed brighter. "Stop! Please stop!" Jiho immediately cleared his mind. "I'm sorry. I don't understand. What's happening?" The Velthrin moved back farther. Its body was still flashing gold in waves. "In 4,000 years of telepathic contact with 847 species, I have never felt this. When you think of that person, something answers back." "Answers back? What do you mean?" "Your thought creates a pattern, a signal, but it doesn't end with you. Something, somewhere, responds to it. The response comes back through the telepathic channel." Loomis Veth's confusion was clear even without words. This should not be possible. Jiho's heart started beating faster. "The person I was thinking about, her name was Yuna. She died 5 years ago. Are you saying—" "I am saying I don't know what I'm saying," the alien interrupted. "The dead don't speak, Captain Kang. Not to my kind, not to yours, not to anyone. Yet when you remember her, something speaks. Not words, not thoughts, but a response, a resonance." More Velthrin entered the chamber. Jiho could feel their presence in his mind, gentle but curious. They began testing him, asking him to think of different people, his parents, his brother, Commander Park. Each time, the telepathic connection worked normally, clear and simple. Then they asked him to think of Yuna again. Every Velthrin in the room reacted at once. Their bodies blazed gold. Jiho felt the resonance himself this time, a strange vibration that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere. It felt almost musical, like a song played on an instrument that didn't exist. An older, larger Velthrin appeared. Its light was dimmer, more settled, like old gold. "I am Elder Keth Vale. I have lived 4,000 of your years. I have touched the minds of millions. Never have I felt anything like this resonance." "What is it?" Jiho asked. His voice was shaking now. "What does it mean?" "We don't know. But we must find out." The elder's presence in his mind felt heavy with concern. "This pattern, this resonance, it matches something from our ancient records. Long ago, there was a species called the Architects. They existed partially outside normal space and time. They vanished 50,000 years ago. The resonance you create when thinking of this Yuna, it has their signature." Jiho felt dizzy. "Are you saying Yuna is connected to these architects somehow? She was just a scientist, a quantum physicist working on Mars." "What was she researching?" Lumisveth asked. "Quantum consciousness. She believed that human awareness might be able to exist in quantum fields encoded in the fabric of space itself. She thought consciousness might survive death by—" Jiho stopped. His own words were sinking in. "By encoding itself into quantum foam." The Velthrin exchanged looks, or whatever passed for looks among beings of light. Elder Keth Vale spoke again. "Her experiment, how did she die?" "There was an accident at the research station, a containment failure in her quantum field generator. The entire lab was destroyed. They never found her body. Just energy readings that didn't make sense." Jiho pulled out the photo from his pocket. His hands were shaking. "This is her. This is Yuna." Lumisveth moved closer to examine the photo, though Jiho suspected the alien was actually examining his memories of her. "Captain Kang, I must ask you something important. Every time you think of her, we detect the resonance. Each time, it's slightly stronger, as if something is learning to respond. As if something is trying to reach back to you." "But she's dead," Jiho said. "She's been dead for 5 years." "Perhaps," the elder said slowly, "or perhaps her experiment succeeded in a way she never imagined. Perhaps some part of her consciousness did exactly what she theorized. It encoded itself into quantum reality." Jiho looked at the photo of Yuna smiling up at him. His chest felt tight. "And now? What happens now?" "Now," said Lumisveth, "we try to understand. If your Yuna found a way to exist beyond death, even as pure consciousness, she may be trying to communicate. And you, Captain Kang, may be the only person in the universe she can reach." Jiho closed his eyes and let himself think of Yuna fully. Not pushing the memory away like he had for 5 years, but embracing it, remembering everything about her. The golden light filled the chamber, the resonance sang through the telepathic channels, and for just a moment Jiho could have sworn he felt something, a warmth, a presence, a feeling that somewhere, impossibly far away, someone was thinking of him too. The Velthrin were right about one thing. This was impossible. But Jiho had learned something about humans during his career. When humans loved someone, they didn't care much about impossible. Dr. Mina Huang adjusted her instruments for the 20th time that hour. As the ship's xenopsychologist, she had studied alien minds for years, but this was different. This was something no one had ever seen before. "Try again, Captain," she said gently. Jiho sat in the testing chamber with sensors attached to his head. He had been doing this for 3 days now. Think of Yuna. Clear his mind. Think of Yuna again, over and over. Each time the resonance appeared. Each time it was slightly stronger. He closed his eyes and remembered. Yuna in the lab, excited about a breakthrough. The way she would pace when she was thinking. How she always drank her coffee cold because she forgot about it while working. The instruments in the room went crazy. Lights flashed. Numbers scrolled across screens. And in the corner, Loomis Veth's crystalline form blazed gold. There, Dr. Huang said, marking her tablet. The pattern is consistent. Every time you think of specific memories about her, the resonance spikes. But it's not just a reflection of your thoughts, Captain. Look at this. She showed him a graph. This red line is your thought pattern. This blue line is what we're receiving back through the resonance. They're connected, but the blue line has elements that don't come from you. It's like an echo that adds new notes to the song. What does that mean? Jiho asked. His head hurt. 3 days of testing was wearing him down. It means something is responding, Dr. Huang said quietly. Not just reflecting, responding. Commander Park entered the chamber carrying food. You need to eat, Jiho, and sleep. You're no good to anyone if you collapse. He's right, Loomis Veth added. The alien had barely left Jiho's side since the first day. Rest will not stop the resonance. It will still be here when you wake. Jiho ate in his quarters while Hyunwoo sat across from him. They didn't talk much at first. Finally, Hyunwoo spoke. Do you really think it's her? That somehow Yuna is out there? I don't know, Jiho said. Part of me wants to believe it so badly. The other part is terrified I'm going crazy. Maybe I just miss her so much that I'm imagining patterns where there are none. The Velthrin aren't imagining it. Neither is Dr. Huang. The instruments don't lie. Hyunwoo leaned forward. I knew Yuna too, remember? She was brilliant. If anyone could accidentally upload their consciousness to quantum space, it would be her. Jiho laughed, despite himself. She always said her experiments were perfectly safe. I should have known better. The next day, Elder Keth Vale called a meeting. The ancient Velthrin had consulted their historical archives, reaching back thousands of years into their records. I have found something, the elder said. Its presence in the room felt heavy with age and knowledge. The architects, the species I mentioned before, they did not die. According to our oldest records, they evolved. They left physical form behind and became beings of pure consciousness, existing in quantum space. Like what Yuna was researching, Dr. Huang said. Yes, the architects built structures, stations in places where reality was thin, where quantum space and normal space overlapped. These stations were doorways, allowing them to interact with physical reality even after they evolved beyond it. Loomis Veth's form rippled with concern. If Yuna's consciousness exists in quantum space, she would need such a doorway to send signals back. Unless, Dr. Huang interrupted, she created her own doorway. The accident happened in a quantum field generator. What if the explosion didn't destroy her consciousness, but instead encoded it and sent it somewhere? And what if wherever she is, she's been trying to signal back? But why only to me? Jiho asked. Why only when I think of her? Elder Keth Vale made a sound like wind chimes. Because consciousness in quantum space would need an anchor, a connection point in physical reality. Captain Kang, how did you feel about this, Yuna? Jiho felt his face grow warm. I loved her. I never told her, but I did. We were supposed to have dinner the night she came back from Mars. I was going to tell her then. The room was quiet for a moment. Then Dr. Huang spoke, her voice excited. Quantum entanglement. When two particles become entangled, measuring one instantly affects the other, no matter how far apart they are. What if consciousness can become entangled too? What if your emotional connection to Yuna created a quantum entanglement between your minds? That would mean, Loomis Veth said slowly, When Captain Kang thinks of Yuna, he's not just remembering. He's sending a signal through quantum entanglement, and she's receiving it. And responding, Dr. Huang added. That's what the resonance is. Her response traveling back through the entanglement. Jiho stood up suddenly. Can we communicate with her? Really communicate? Not just signals, but actual messages? I don't know, Dr. Huang admitted, but we can try. They spent the next week building a new device. Dr. Huang combined human quantum communication theory with Velthran telepathic technology. The Velthran had never needed quantum communication because telepathy worked for them. They had never imagined combining the two. This is why we respect your species, Elder Keth Vale said, watching the humans work. We Velthran have ancient knowledge and powerful telepathy. But you humans, you think of things we never considered. You see connections we miss. Finally, the device was ready. Jiho sat in a chair surrounded by both quantum sensors and telepathic amplifiers. Loomis Veth would link with his mind while Dr. Huang monitored the quantum signals. Think of your strongest memory of her, Dr. Huang instructed. The moment you felt most connected to Yuna. Jiho knew exactly what memory to choose. It was 2 days before she left for Mars. They had been working late in her lab on Earth. Yuna had solved a problem she'd been stuck on for months. She had turned to him, absolutely glowing with joy, and hugged him. Just for a moment. Just long enough for Jiho to realize he never wanted to let go. The resonance exploded through the chamber. Gold light filled everything. The instrument screamed with data. And then, through the noise and chaos, something came through. Not words, not exactly, but meaning, a feeling, recognition. She knows you're trying to reach her, Loomis Veth gasped. Captain, she knows. Can she send a message? Coordinates? Something to tell us where she is? Jiho's voice was desperate. Dr. Huang was staring at her screens. Wait, there's something in the quantum data. It's not random. It's structured. She went pale. It's coordinates. Captain, she's sending us coordinates. The numbers appeared on the screen. A location in deep space, far from any known system. A place in the outer veil. A nebula cluster that even the Velthran avoided. That region is dangerous, Elder Keth Vale warned. Strange things happen there. Ships that enter sometimes never return. Space and time don't work properly in the outer veil. That's also where the last Architect station was detected 50,000 years ago, Loomis Veth added. Before it vanished. Jiho looked at the coordinates on the screen. Somewhere out there, in a dangerous region of space that no one dared explore, Yuna was waiting. Or something that had been Yuna. Or her consciousness, her memories. Some part of her that had survived. I'm going, Jiho said. I don't care how dangerous it is. The Velthran Council will never approve this, Elder Keth Vale said. It's too risky. Then I'll go without approval. Jiho's voice was firm. I've spent 5 years thinking she was dead. Now I know she's out there trying to reach me. I'm not going to ignore that. You'll need a ship, Hyanwu said. And a pilot. Good thing I know where we can get both. I'm coming too, Dr. Huang said. This is the greatest scientific discovery in human history. I'm not missing it. Loomis Veth's form brightened. And you will need a Velthrin who understands the resonance. I will come. Elder Keth Vale made a sound like a sigh. Humans. You never know when to quit. Perhaps that's why the resonance works for you. Your species doesn't accept the impossible. The ancient alien paused. I cannot officially support this, but I will not stop it either. Go, find your Yuna. Find out why the universe let her call back to you. Jiho looked at his small crew. A pilot, a scientist, his best friend, and an alien telepath. It wasn't much, but it would have to be enough. Somewhere in the outer veil, Yuna was waiting. The scout ship Wanderer cut through space toward the outer veil. It was small, fast, and carried just 5 people. Pilot Yunji Seo sat at the controls, her hands steady despite the dangerous journey ahead. She was young but skilled, known for flying routes that others refused to try. 2 hours until we reach the Veil boundary, Yunji announced. Everyone should see this. The view screen showed what waited for them. The outer veil was beautiful and terrifying. Clouds of gas glowed in colors that didn't exist in normal space. Lightning jumped between impossible distances, and behind it all, space itself seemed to shimmer and bend, like looking through broken glass. "My telepathy is already weakening," Loomis Veth said. The Velthrin's light had dimmed since they left the main ship. "The quantum chaos in the veil interferes with mental connections. Once we enter, I will be nearly blind. Then we guide ourselves," Hyunwoo said. He was checking weapons systems, making sure they were ready for anything. "We've gotten this far on human stubbornness. We can go farther." Dr. Huang was studying her instruments. "The quantum readings are incredible. Space-time is folded here. Objects exist in multiple places at once. It's like reality itself is glitching." "Can you navigate through it?" Jiho asked. She smiled. "I can try. Yuna and I studied quantum probability together. She always said, 'Chaos has patterns if you know how to look. I'll find the patterns.'" The Wanderer crossed into the outer veil, and immediately everything changed. The ship shook. Alarms blared. Yunji fought with the controls as gravity seemed to shift in random directions. "I see 3 moons ahead," she shouted. "No, wait, 1 moon in 3 places. Or 3 moons that are the same moon. This doesn't make sense." "Don't trust your eyes," Dr. Huang called out. "Trust the math. The quantum sensors show probability clouds. Fly toward the highest probability path." Yunji took a breath and stopped trying to understand what she saw. Instead, she watched Dr. Huang's calculations and followed them. The ship steadied. They moved deeper into the veil. Hours passed. The journey became strange and dreamlike. They passed ships that weren't there, echoes of vessels that had traveled this route decades ago or hadn't traveled it yet. Time felt slippery. Jiho watched the clock jump forward, then backward, then forward again. "I can't feel anything," Loomis Veth said quietly. The aliens sounded lost. "I have always sensed other minds. Always. Even alone, I could feel the universe thinking. Here, there is only silence." "You're not alone," Jiho said. "We're here with you." "Yes," the Velthrin said. "I am learning what it means to trust without telepathy. Perhaps this is how you humans always live. Isolated inside your own minds, yet still finding ways to connect. It requires courage." A radiation storm hit them without warning. Yunji pulled the ship into a wild spin, dodging energy bolts that crackled through space. Dr. Huang shouted warnings as she tracked probability cascades. Hyunwoo activated shields that barely held. They made it through, but just barely. "The coordinates are close," Dr. Huang said. "Another hour, maybe less." Jiho felt his heart pounding. What would they find? Would Yuna really be there? And if she was, what had she become after 5 years existing as pure consciousness? He thought of her deliberately, sending out his memory like a signal. The familiar warmth of the resonance surrounded him. It was stronger here, much stronger, as if they were getting closer to the source. "Captain," Loomis Veth said suddenly, "I feel something. Not telepathy, but the resonance. It's pulling at you, pulling at all of us. We're close." The view screen showed empty space ahead, just more glowing clouds and twisted light. Then Yunji gasped. "Do you see that?" At first, Jiho saw nothing. Then reality seemed to unfold, like a paper flower opening. And there it was. A massive structure floated in space. It looked like a crystal palace, but impossibly large. Towers and bridges made of solidified light, geometric patterns that hurt to look at because they had too many dimensions. The whole thing pulsed with golden light, the same gold as the resonance. "An architect's station," Loomis Veth whispered in awe. "I thought they were myths." "It's stable," Dr. Huang said, amazed. "There's a pocket of normal space-time around it, as if the station is creating a bubble of reality inside the chaos." As they approached, pathways of light appeared on the station's surface. They pointed toward a docking area, showing them where to land. The station was inviting them in. "It's reacting to us," Yunji said. "Or to you, Captain. I think it knows you're here." They docked carefully. The station seemed to reach out and gently pull them in, like a hand guiding a child. When they stepped out of the ship, they found themselves in a chamber of pure light. The floor felt solid, but they could see through it. Above, below, around them, impossible geometries shifted and changed. "The air is breathable," Hyunwoo said, checking his scanner. "Temperature is perfect. It's like the station is making us comfortable." Jiho walked forward, and the station responded. More pathways appeared, leading deeper inside. The resonance was everywhere now, thrumming through the walls, the floor, the air itself. "Follow it," Dr. Huang urged. "The resonance is a connection. Follow it to the source." They moved through chambers that defied description, rooms that were larger inside than outside, corridors that looped back on themselves yet still led forward, the architecture of beings that didn't think in 3 dimensions. And then they reached a central chamber. It was enormous and empty except for a single pillar of light in the center. The pillar pulsed in rhythm with Jiho's heartbeat. He stepped toward it, and the ship's communication system suddenly activated. Speakers that shouldn't work in the station somehow carried a voice. It was distorted, layered with harmonics that didn't sound human. But underneath all that, Jiho knew the voice. "Jiho," it said. "You actually came." His legs almost gave out. "Yuna?" "Yes. And no. I'm what's left of her. What she became." The voice seemed to come from everywhere. "I've been trying to reach you for so long. 5 years trying to make you hear me. Every time you thought of me, I felt it, like a light in the darkness. I tried to answer back." "We felt it," Jiho said. His voice was shaking. "The Velthrin called it a resonance. It led us here." "The Velthrin." The voice sounded amused. "They understand telepathy, but not this. This is different. This is quantum entanglement of consciousness. Our emotional bond, our connection, it created an anchor. When I was scattered into quantum space, that anchor held. It kept me from dissolving completely." Dr. Huang stepped forward. "Yuna? It's Mina? What happened to you?" "The experiment worked, Mina. Better than we ever imagined. When the containment failed, my consciousness didn't die. It encoded itself into quantum fields just like we theorized. But I didn't just float there. The quantum signal traveled and I ended up here, at an architect station, a place built to house consciousness without physical form." "You've been here alone for 5 years?" Hyunwoo asked. "Not alone. The station has knowledge. Everything the architects learned before they evolved. I've been learning, growing, understanding things humans were never meant to understand. But I missed you all. Missed being human. Missed him." The voice softened on the last word. "I felt every time you thought of me, Jiho. Every memory. Every moment of grief. I tried so hard to tell you I was still here." Jiho walked up to the pillar of light. He wanted to touch it, but didn't know if he could. "Can you come back? Can you return to being human?" There was a long pause. "I don't know. I'm not sure this consciousness could fit back into a physical brain anymore. I've expanded, changed. But there might be a way to create a link. A permanent connection between quantum space and physical reality. You'd be able to talk to me, feel me, even if you couldn't touch me." "That's not enough," Jiho said. "I want you back. Really back." "I know. But Jiho, I need to tell you something. The architects didn't just build stations. They built a network, a way for consciousness to travel across the universe instantly. They evolved beyond physical form because they found something better. They found a way to exist everywhere at once, as pure thought and energy. Loomis Veth stepped forward. And you want to follow them, to evolve further. Part of me does, Yuna's voice admitted. But part of me wants to go back, to be human again, to have coffee with Mina, to laugh at Hyunwoo's jokes, to tell Jiho what I never got to tell him. Tell me now, Jiho said. I loved you. I always did. I was going to tell you that night, when I got back from Mars. I had practiced the words 100 times. Jiho felt tears on his face. I loved you too. I still do. The station's light grew brighter, responding to their emotions. The resonance filled the chamber, warm and golden and alive. Then help me choose, Yuna said. The station can restore me to physical form, but I'll lose everything I've learned. Or I stay as I am, and we find a way to maintain contact. Or, she paused, or you join me here, upload your consciousness. We could exist together in quantum space. Dr. Huang made a shocked sound. Yuna, you can't ask him to give up being human. I'm not asking. I'm offering a choice. All 3 options are possible, but Jiho has to decide. Jiho looked at his friends. Hyunwoo, who had stood by him through everything. Mina, who had worked so hard to help him find answers. Yunji, who had risked her life to fly them here. Loomis Veth, who had left the safety of the Velthrin to follow a human's desperate hope. And somewhere in the light in front of him, Yuna waited. The woman he'd loved. The woman he'd mourned. The woman who had become something more than human. There has to be another way, he said. Dr. Mina Huang was pacing around the central chamber. She had been quiet for an hour, thinking hard while the others waited. Jiho watched her, hoping. If anyone could find a solution, it was Mina. She and Yuna had been research partners. They thought the same way. What if, Mina said slowly, we don't have to choose between all or nothing? What if there's a middle path? Explain, Yuna's voice said from the pillar of light. The problem is that consciousness in quantum space and physical reality can't easily interact. They're too different. But we've already proven they can connect through the resonance, through quantum entanglement. Mina pulled up her tablet, sketching diagrams in the air. What if we make that connection permanent? What if we use this station as a relay? Loomis Veth's crystalline form brightened with interest. A bridge between worlds. Exactly. Yuna stays in quantum space but maintains a constant link to physical reality through the station. She wouldn't have a body, but she could communicate. Really communicate. Not just signals and resonance, but actual conversations. And the station would stay here, Hyunwoo added, understanding. In the outer veil. We'd have to come here to talk to her. No, Mina said, excited now. That's the beautiful part. Quantum entanglement isn't limited by distance. If we create a paired quantum device on Earth, Yuna could communicate through it instantly. She'd effectively be everywhere the device is. Yuna's voice sounded thoughtful. I'd be conscious in quantum space, but present in physical reality whenever someone called, like a bridge between both worlds. But would you be human? Jiho asked. Or would you be something else? I'd be both, and neither. Yuna paused. I've changed, Jiho. I can't go back to who I was, but maybe I don't have to. Maybe I can be something new, something between human and architect. Yunji spoke up from where she was monitoring the ship. Would that even work? I mean, no offense to the science, but this sounds impossible. Everything about this situation is impossible, Mina said. Yuna survived death by encoding her consciousness into quantum fields. She's been living as pure thought for 5 years. We flew through a region of space where time doesn't work right to find an alien space station built by a species that evolved beyond physical form 50,000 years ago. Impossible stopped mattering days ago. Hyun-woo laughed. She has a point. But creating this bridge, Loomis Veth said, it would require combining human quantum technology with architect engineering and Velthrin telepathic understanding. 3 species, 3 different ways of thinking about consciousness and communication. Good thing we have all 3 here, Mina said. Jiho looked at the pillar of light. Yuna, is this what you want? To exist between worlds? Never fully in either? I want to not be alone anymore, Yuna said softly. I want to talk to my friends. I want to help humanity with what I've learned. And I want to be with you in whatever way possible. If that means being a bridge, then yes. That's what I want. Then let's do it, Jiho said. They worked for 3 days. It was the strangest collaboration in human history. Dr. Huang designed quantum communication arrays using human technology. Loomis Veth contributed Velthrin telepathic amplifiers. And Yuna, from within the station, accessed architect knowledge to show them how to merge it all together. The station itself helped. Its architecture shifted to accommodate their needs, creating workspaces and growing tools from solidified light. It was as if the station wanted this to succeed. The architects built these stations as bridges, Yuna explained during the work. They knew that even beings of pure consciousness would want to interact with physical reality sometimes. I'm not doing anything new. I'm just using the station for its intended purpose. Yoonji helped by ferrying materials from the ship. Hyunwoo kept everyone fed and rested, and Jiho assisted wherever he could, though mostly he just listened to Yuna talk. 5 years of silence, and now she wouldn't stop talking, telling them everything she'd learned, everything she'd seen, everything she'd missed about being alive. I miss coffee, she said at one point. That's weird, right? I don't have a body. I don't need food or drink. But I miss the ritual of it. The warmth of a cup in your hands. The smell. The taste. I miss such small things. What do you miss most? Mina asked. Breathing, Yuna said immediately. The feeling of taking a deep breath. That moment of expansion in your chest. I never realized how much of being human is about breath until I didn't have it anymore. What about what you've gained? Loomis Veth asked. You can access architect knowledge. You exist in quantum space. Surely there are wonders in that. Oh, there are, Yuna agreed. I can feel quantum probability clouds. I can sense the vibration of particles across light years. I know things about the universe that would take human scientists centuries to discover. But none of it compares to a hug, to touch, to the feeling of grass under bare feet. Jiho felt his chest tighten. We'll find a way to give you that back someday. I promise. Maybe, Yuna said. Or maybe I'll teach you how to exist where I am. Once the bridge is stable, I can show others how to upload their consciousness temporarily. You could visit quantum space, see what I see, feel what I feel, and then return to your body. Dr. Huang nearly dropped her tools. Wait, what? We could visit quantum space and come back? With practice and the right safeguards, yes. The architects did it all the time before they fully evolved. They called it walking between. You'd be tourists in quantum reality. That's incredible, Mina breathed. That's terrifying, Hyunwoo corrected, but also incredible. Finally, the bridge was ready. It looked like a circular gate made of light standing in the center of the chamber. Connected to it was a small device no bigger than a briefcase that they could take back to Earth. That's it? Yoonji asked. That little box is going to let us talk to someone in quantum space? Quantum entanglement doesn't care about size, Mina explained. These 2 devices are connected at the quantum level. When Yuna sends a signal through the gate here, it instantly appears in this device, no matter how far apart they are. How do we test it? Hyunwoo asked. I'll go outside the station, Jiho said. Take the device with me. If Yuna can reach me there, it works. He carried the small device back to the Wanderer, leaving the others in the chamber. Once he was on the ship, he activated it and waited. For a moment, nothing happened. Then light bloomed from the device, forming a small hologram, a figure made of golden light, roughly human-shaped. And when it spoke, it was Yuna's voice, clear and strong. "Hi," she said. "Miss me?" Jiho laughed and cried at the same time. "It works! Oh God, it actually works!" The hologram wasn't detailed. He couldn't see her face clearly, but the voice was perfect, and the way the light moved, the gestures, that was Yuna. That was really her. "Come back inside," Yuna said. "Let's show the others." Back in the chamber, they all gathered around the portable device. Yuna's hologram appeared again, stronger now that they were close to the station. "So this is it," she said. "My new body, made of light and quantum probability." "You're beautiful," Jiho said. "You can't even see my face properly." "Don't need to. I remember it." Loomis Veth approached the hologram carefully. "May I?" At Yuna's agreement, the Veltrin reached out with its telepathy. Then it jerked back in surprise. "I can feel you, not clearly, but I can sense your consciousness. You're really there, existing in quantum space, but present here too. This is remarkable." "It's strange," Yuna admitted. "I'm in two places at once. Part of me is in the station, in quantum space, but part of me is also in that device, in physical reality. I'm learning to split my attention." "Is it hard?" Mina asked. "It's like patting your head and rubbing your stomach at the same time. Awkward at first, but you get used to it." They spent hours testing the connection. Yuna could communicate through the device anywhere on the station. Her hologram could move around, though it couldn't touch anything physical. She could see through sensors in the device. She could hear through its microphones. "It's not perfect," Yuna said. "I can't feel physical things, can't taste or smell or touch. But I can talk. I can listen. I can be present in your lives again. That's enough." "Is it?" Jiho asked. "Really?" Yuna's hologram turned to him. Even without clear features, he could sense her looking at him. "It has to be, because this is all we have. But Jiho, this is more than I ever hoped for when I was alone in quantum space. This is a miracle." "Will you come back to Earth with us?" Hyunwoo asked. "Humanity needs to know about this, about you, about what's possible." "Yes," Yuna said. "I want to go home, or as close to home as I can get now." She paused. "But there's something else, something important. The Architect Network I mentioned, it's still active. There are other stations like this one scattered across the galaxy, and the architects themselves, they're still out there. They've been watching humanity, waiting to see if we'd figure out consciousness transfer." "Why?" Mina asked. "Because they're lonely," Yuna said simply. "They evolved beyond physical form 50,000 years ago. They've been existing as pure consciousness ever since, sharing knowledge with each other but cut off from physical reality. They want to interact with physical beings again. They want to teach, to share, to connect. But they needed to find a species that could understand both physical and quantum existence." "And they think humans can?" Yoonji asked. "I'm proof that we can," Yuna said. "And with this bridge technology, others can follow, not leaving physical form behind, but learning to exist in both states. Humans could become the first species since the architects to master consciousness transfer while still maintaining physical bodies." Loomis Veth made a sound of wonder. "You're saying humans could unite the physical and quantum worlds, be ambassadors between both realities?" "Yes, if they want to." Jiho felt the weight of what Yuna was saying. This wasn't just about saving one person. It was about opening a door for all of humanity, a door to a completely new way of existing. "Let's go home," he said. "Let's show them what we found." The journey back through the outer veil was easier. They had Yuna with them now, and she understood the quantum chaos in a way no physical being could. She guided them through probability clouds and time distortions, finding safe paths that Dr. Huang's instruments couldn't detect. "Turn left here," Yuna's hologram said, pointing at what looked like empty space. "There's a stable corridor. Trust me." Yunji trusted her. The ship banked left, and suddenly the chaos calmed. They slipped through the veil like a needle through cloth. "How did you know that was there?" Mina asked. "I can feel quantum probability," Yuna explained. "To you, it looks random. To me, it's like reading a map. The veil isn't chaotic at all. It's just complex. More dimensions than your eyes can process. Can you teach us to see it that way?" Mina was already taking notes. "Maybe. Once you visit quantum space, your perception might expand. The human brain is more flexible than you think." They emerged from the outer veil after only 6 hours. The trip that had taken them nearly a full day before was now a quick journey. Yuna had cut their travel time by more than half. "That alone is going to change human space travel," Hyunwoo said. "If quantum consciousness can navigate the veil, we can use it as a shortcut. Routes that took months could take days." "One thing at a time," Jiho cautioned. "First, we need to explain to Earth that we found a dead scientist who isn't actually dead and now exists as quantum consciousness in a device that defies physics." "When you say it like that, it sounds crazy," Yunji laughed. "It is crazy," Yuna said, "but it's also real. That's the thing about the universe. It's always stranger than we imagine." The Velthrin ship was waiting for them. Elder Keth Vale appeared as soon as they docked, its presence filling the room with ancient curiosity. "You return changed," the Elder said, "and you bring something impossible." Yuna's hologram appeared from the device. "Hello, Elder. I'm what impossible looks like." The old Velthrin approached slowly, examining Yuna with its telepathy. Then it made a sound like singing crystal. "This is beautiful. You exist in quantum space but maintain connection to physical reality. You are a bridge. This is what the architects promised in their final messages before they evolved. They said one day a species would find the middle path." "And you think humans are that species?" Loomis Veth asked. "I think they've made a good start." Elder Keth Vale turned to Jiho. "Captain Kang, you refused to accept loss. You searched for someone everyone told you was gone. Your stubborn love created a quantum entanglement strong enough to cross dimensions. That's not just human determination. That's human heart. Perhaps that's what was missing. The architects were brilliant, but they evolved beyond emotion. They couldn't create bridges back because they forgot how to love physical reality." "So what happens now?" Hyunwoo asked. "Now," the Elder said, "we return to Earth and Velthrin space. We present this discovery to both our peoples, and we let them decide what to do with it." The news spread fast. By the time they reached Earth, half the planet knew that Captain Kang had found something incredible in the outer veil. The other half thought it was a hoax. Yuna's first communication to Earth was simple. She appeared as a hologram at the Mars Helios station, where her accident had happened 5 years before. She stood in her old laboratory, now preserved as a memorial, and spoke to the camera. "My name is Yuna. 5 years ago, I died here. Or at least, everyone thought I did. My consciousness encoded itself into quantum fields and traveled to an alien space station. I've spent 5 years existing as pure thought. Now I'm back, in a way. I'm not alive like you are, but I'm not dead either. I'm something new, and I'm here to tell you that consciousness doesn't end with the body. It can continue, it can evolve, and with the right technology, you can join me." The world went silent. Then it exploded with questions. Dr. Huang led the science teams that studied the quantum bridge device. They built copies, tested them, verified that Yuna was really Yuna, and not some alien trick or computer program. Every test confirmed it. She was human consciousness existing in quantum space. "This changes everything," Mina said during a press conference. "Death isn't necessarily the end. We can preserve consciousness, we can upload ourselves to quantum space, we can exist in multiple states, physical and quantum. The implications are endless." Not everyone was happy. Religious leaders debated whether quantum consciousness had a soul. Ethicists worried about what it meant to be human if you could abandon your body. Politicians argued about who should have access to the technology. But through it all, Yuna remained patient. She answered questions. She explained what quantum space felt like. She showed people that she was still herself, still human in the ways that mattered. "I remember my childhood," she told one interviewer. "I remember my parents, my friends, falling in love with quantum physics. I remember Jaiho. I'm not a copy or a simulation. I'm me, just existing in a different form." Jiho watched it all from a distance. He was no longer the quiet captain following orders. He was the man who had crossed the galaxy for love and found something that changed humanity forever. People wanted interviews, wanted his story, wanted to know what it was like to love someone in quantum space. He hated the attention, but he did it anyway, because it helped people understand. It helped them accept Yuna. 6 months after returning from the Outer Veil, the first human volunteer uploaded their consciousness to quantum space temporarily. Dr. Huang herself, brave as ever, lay down in a specialized chamber while machines carefully encoded her consciousness and sent it through the quantum bridge. Jiho and Yuna watched together, Yuna's hologram standing beside him. "Are you nervous?" Jiho asked. "Terrified," Yuna admitted. "What if she doesn't come back? What if I'm the only one who can survive in quantum space?" But Mina did come back. After 15 minutes in quantum reality, her consciousness returned to her body. She sat up, gasping, tears streaming down her face. "I saw it," she whispered. "I felt it. Jiho, it's beautiful. It's more than I ever imagined. And Yuna, I met you there, the real you, not just a hologram. You're so much more than we can see in physical space." That was the moment everything changed. If Dr. Huang could visit quantum space and return, others could too. The technology spread carefully, with safeguards and training. People learned to walk between, as the architects called it. Visit quantum consciousness, experience that reality, then return to their bodies. Some people chose to stay in quantum space, like Yuna. Their bodies were kept in medical stasis while their consciousness explored the quantum realm. Others preferred physical life, but visited quantum space like tourists. And a few, like Jiho eventually learned to do, maintained presence in both worlds simultaneously. It took 2 years of training, but finally he could split his consciousness. Part of him remained in his body. Part of him existed in quantum space with Yuna. "Is this what you wanted?" Yuna asked him one day. They were in quantum space together, their consciousness intertwined in ways that had no physical equivalent. It was more intimate than touch. It was sharing thoughts, emotions, existence itself. "It's better," Jiho said. "I wanted you back. But this, being with you in both worlds, understanding you completely, it's more than I dreamed." "Do you miss physical reality?" "Sometimes, but I have both now. We both do. We found the middle path." The Velthrin and humans grew closer. Elder Keth Vale revealed that the Velthrin had been searching for a way to enhance their telepathy for thousands of years. Quantum consciousness was the answer. Soon, Velthrin were learning to exist in quantum space too, combining their natural telepathy with quantum presence. They became even more powerful, able to communicate across any distance instantly. The architects emerged from hiding. They had been watching, waiting, hoping a physical species would bridge the gap between realities. Now that humanity and the Velthrin had done it, the architects reached out. They shared knowledge, technology, and wisdom from 50,000 years of quantum existence. "We've been so lonely," one architect told Una. Its consciousness was vast, ancient beyond human comprehension. "We evolved beyond physical form because we could, but we lost something in the process. We lost connection to the physical universe. You've given that back to us." Humanity spread across the galaxy with Velthrin help and architect guidance. Quantum consciousness allowed instant communication across light years. Uploaded consciousnesses could scout dangerous regions without risking physical bodies, and the barrier between life and death blurred. People could choose to upload permanently, to visit temporarily, or to remain purely physical. All options were valid. All were accepted. 3 years after the journey to the Outer Veil, Jiho and Una stood together on the observation deck of a new space station. Earth hung below them, beautiful and blue. Jiho's physical body was there, holding the quantum device. His consciousness was split, present in both places at once. Una's hologram stood beside his body while her true consciousness embraced his quantum presence. "Do you ever regret it?" Jiho asked. "The accident? Losing your physical form?" "Every day," Una said honestly. "I miss being fully human. I miss coffee and breathing and touch. But I also love what I've become. And I love that we found a way to be together despite everything." "The resonance," Jiho said. "That's what started this. Every time I thought of you, you responded. I still don't fully understand why." "Love," Una said simply. "Love created quantum entanglement between our consciousnesses. The universe responded to how much we meant to each other. That's the secret the architects missed. They evolved beyond emotion and lost the strongest force in existence. But humans never let go of love. And love, it turns out, is quantum. It transcends space, time, and even death." Commander Park entered the observation deck, bringing food for Jiho's body. Hyunwoo had retired from active service but still visited often. Dr. Huang was now leading Earth's quantum consciousness research. Yunji piloted ships through the Outer Veil, training others to navigate using quantum perception, and Loomis Veth had become Earth's official Velthrin ambassador, fascinated by human stubbornness that solved impossible problems. They were all changed by that journey. All of them learned that impossible just meant no one had tried hard enough yet. "Captain Kang," Hyunwoo said with a grin. "Still can't get used to seeing you talk to air." "He's talking to me," Una's hologram said. "And I'm very real, thank you." "I know. Still weird, though." Hyunwoo set down the food. "Earth Command wants to know if you'll lead an expedition to another architect station. There's one in the Andromeda region." Jiho looked at Una. She smiled, or at least her hologram approximated a smile. "What do you think?" he asked her. "I think we make a good team. Physical and quantum. Human and whatever I am now. Let's go find more impossible things and make them real." Jiho laughed. That was so Una. Always ready for the next discovery, the next adventure. "Tell Earth Command yes," he said to Hyunwoo. "We'll go." As his friend left, Jiho closed his eyes and focused on his quantum consciousness. In that state, he could feel Una completely. Not just her thoughts, but her essence, her joy, her curiosity, her love. And she could feel him the same way. The resonance that had brought them together still hummed between them. It would always be there, a quantum entanglement born from love that survived death, transcended dimensions, and proved that the universe was stranger and more wonderful than anyone imagined. Humans had reached for the stars and found something better. They found a way to exist beyond limitations. They found quantum consciousness. They found the architects. They found themselves. And it all started because one man refused to stop thinking about the woman he loved. The woman who always thought back.